Hello. Happy Friday. I don't know what today will bring. This might be a few minutes, a few minutes long, because I was struggling finding what to talk about today. And also, I have a pop filter. Well, I already have one, but I don't have a stand, so it would be very awkward and weird. But I noticed when I was listening to the one recording from last week, from Tuesday, it feels like last week, there was a lot of p sounds and other consonants that were not very pleasant. So I'm going to try my best. I turned it down a little bit. Hopefully that'll help a little bit as well. But that is to come. That is TBD, not TBT, TBC, to be continued. To be continued? Yeah. Anyways, happy Friday. It is July 18th. Okay, it is not. June 18th is my half birthday, so it's off by a month. But the 18th is generally kind of like cool to me. Not so much this year. This year, not so much. I was like, okay, I don't know. Yesterday, this will be just kind of a random thing. I also am trying to, uh, gosh, get a hold of my screens. There's so many screens. I was just talking to someone about um, anxiety versus ADHD, and it's interesting because I feel like they might think that it's the other way around, but I am pretty sure you're more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety than ADHD, especially as an adult. And so, yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. I don't know. There are very clear signs, though, to me. One being I have so many different windows, so many different screens for Mac users, or you also have this on Windows, but people don't seem to know or use it as much. But you swipe up and you have like a bunch of desktops open. You have one, two, three, four, five, and each one has some stuff on it. So this week I feel like it's just more of the subpoenas there as far as the Blake Lively content. There's just like subpoenas. Now it's Twitter. I just really don't. I care very much, but I just really don't have the a capacity, energy capacity to be as revolted or as I don't know. Sometimes I do, but I don't know. It's like it's just winding down for me. My attention span has kind of um when there's like a sponge and it absorbs water, it kind of reached its max almost with the Blake Lively thing. It in part because it feels like there's just like not much to be done on my end, nothing that I can really do that much. Um and I don't know. I feel like it's not boring. It's quite the opposite, but it's too much. Like the anger and the frustration and the gaslighting that you feel, or manipulation, or cognitive dissonance is what I meant. The cognitive dissonance that I feel just sometimes reaches its limit, and I just cannot go towards it anymore. So that's how I feel now. I'm also just extremely tired. Coming from the 48-hour film project weekend, I'm just extremely tired. The last 2 days, too, I've not been sleeping well. I don't know why. Like I sleep actually better hours. I go to sleep. Last night was the latest at like 11:10 or so. Um or 11:15, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I generally have been sleeping 10:30 till around 8:30 or 9, and more like 8:30, and yet I have strong nightmares, very strong nightmares about nonsense. Like a couple of days ago, there was an Oscars part, but it was an Oscar party. It was like a gala sort of thing, not like how I attended it for my acting school. It was like officially for the Oscars. But it was like this like long. It was. It seemed like it was in the middle of Rome, Italy, or like a Italian big city, and it had like this long table, and you had like all these different people sit, and yeah, so that was one of them. Last night I don't even know what it was. I just know that I knew it this morning, I think, but I woke up tired. I woke up so tired. Hi, Angel. I feel like it's been a while. Welcome. Happy Friday. How was your week? This is going to be a more like podcasty, chilling together or by myself because I don't know if anyone's going to be here. I don't know ever if it's better to. Hi, Maria. Um, to um like post earlier in the day that I'm going to be on, or like last minute as far as like notifications and things. I don't know how that works. Um but honestly today I just kind of forgot to post the coming up kind of thing, the placeholder. But yeah, it's going to be kind of a maybe I'll we'll get into like some crazy stories or crazy news and stuff, but I don't have. Hi, Maria. Look at that. Everyone's like coming in. Um, but I was just like talking for the last however long I've been on that I feel like my brain's kind of like a sponge that's kind of oversaturated. That's the word I was looking for with the Blake Lively thing. And even news, like it's just so much, and it's so taxing emotionally when you get so frustrated, and you also feel like even if you are able to do something, it feels like it's not enough to counter that like burnout or exhaustion from it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where tonight will take us, but I'm here. I showed up. I also am behind on laundry. I don't know why. I was just tired. I've been just tired. Oh, and yeah, and I was talking about nightmares. How was everyone's week though? I feel like it's been a little bit since we've like just chatted. And I'm curious where everyone's at in their life and their like emotion with like, news, emotional life, etc. Not necessarily details, but like, how are you feeling today? I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm tired. I'm very sleepy. Busy week, good busy. Like, whew, that went fast busy, or like, oh my gosh, that was like just exhausting busy. Not bad. Yeah. This week I was kind of antsy. I really I did the 48, and I really wanted to do like jump. I wish I kept finding myself feeling like I wish I had another project lined up that I was actually going to be able to prepare. Too much YouTube drama. Is it between YouTubers? Is it what's the drama? I am kind of surprised how much like I'm triggered by some of the YouTubers, like just the usual Donna and Zach. I am it it's so weird to me because I was one of like I stopped watching them later. Like I kept kind of just like, oh, it's not too bad or whatever. But once I did, it was like, yeah, that's it. I feel like I am like that. Like it takes a lot for me to be triggered or to stop following someone or whatever. But yeah, when I was watching Ask Two Lawyers and I didn't actually get to finish it, I completely forgot to go back to it. But they had some interesting points as far as I did get to it, and Donna was there, everyone was there, and I was like, why can't we just block people on YouTube? I feel like that should be a thing because as you're talking about, not you guys, but like as people talk about, if you don't want to see me, just don't watch. You know, if you don't like my way of approaching things or my opinions or my channel or how I talk, just don't watch. But there's no way to block it. And actually, sometimes when you click like don't recommend this channel, don't recommend, or not interested in this video or whatever, it comes back. It's not like, okay, I'll never show you this again. So I wish that there was a way to actually block people that you don't want to see, because it's not like you're going to change your mind. I don't know what YouTube is thinking. I don't know. I don't see Donna or Zach, but like in the chats and stuff, which I also wish that, you know, people, content creators would stop like mentioning them, like, oh, Donna's in the chat. Like it just sends like just a very painful jolt in my body. And I just kind of stopped listening, and I just I don't know. I don't feel bad. I feel like a bad person, but I don't feel bad because it is what it is. I don't know. But yeah, I wish I could just not see her either. Like, and for her to not see me. Like, you know, I don't know. Anyways, week has gone slow. Okay. Yeah, a little bit for me too. Without a crystal ball and content creators, I never followed her, so I don't know who she is. Okay. Without a crystal ball or Donna are you talking about? That you heard of the channel Maria, but don't know who it is. Yeah. Has anything happened on, let's see, on Without a Crystal Ball since Tuesday I was on? I mean, always something always happens. Oh, I didn't get to talk about. I don't think I talked about the Coldplay thing. Oh my gosh, I do have to show you this part because I thought, what genius marketing. My places that I was, I was a marketing person, whatever, at would have never done this. They were not fun. It's so interesting that Dave Neal. It's so interesting that my God, this has been the thing today. This will be a pattern that I'll just like, my brain will just like forget a thought. What was I saying? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, yeah, tonight's sponsored by ADHD because I just saw this. Dave Neal posted a comment. My God, I can't believe I don't remember. Wow, I don't remember. Okay. So Dave Neal posted this video.
Time with the greatest wealth disparity since the Gilded Era, which means the ultra rich are really rich and the poor are really poor. And there's only one solution to get out of this problem, and that's democratic socialism. Hold on a minute, don't go away. The way democratic socialism works is we just tax the ultra rich a little bit more. And I want to compare it to the NFL. In the NFL, if you win the Super Bowl, the next season you get the worst draft pick. And opposite, if you're the worst team, you get the best draft pick. Because the NFL understands that
I'm like, how is the NFL better as a governing body than the government of the people for the people of the US, like, you know, the best country supposedly. I know if it was ever the best country, or I think in the 90s it was the best country. Maybe because the technology boom and all that stuff, but I don't know if it was just marketing of it. People have their opinions on that. And sorry for the peas. Sorry for the peas. And so I said, like, how is the NFL better than our government? And he replied, Tom Brady for president. I don't like Tom Brady. I'm sorry. Dave's not going to watch my video, but I don't hate him, I guess, either. I'm just very indifferent to him. Um, yeah, I'm just very indifferent to him. I do think he looks like a Neanderthal, and apparently that's just me. But I mean, he does. And I'm not saying that as a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not saying that to insult him. I'm saying that, like, literally, like the is it the brow or something, like that's protruding, and the eyes that are like kind of behind the socket, the like the brow and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. I know that can be an insult, and I don't mean it as an insult. I mean it like just literally, like the images of Neanderthals, like bone structure and stuff. So I don't know what that means. In 23andMe, I remember they would tell you like you're this percentage Neanderthal. I'm like, what is that useful for? Why? What will that help me with? Okay, I don't know. Tom Brady, is he like the biggest American football player, quarterback, most famous, something like that? In the last, I don't know now, but for a decade or so, I don't know. And New England Patriots, and Dave Neal is from New England, I think. I'm pretty sure. And so there you go. What was I looking for? I was looking for something though. Hold on. It was a post that I saw, but I don't even remember the topic that it was on. So, not very useful. It was something funny though, I think, right? Because I started laughing. But I don't remember what it was. Oh my gosh, this is so terrible. This is so terrible. I could play that one, but that's just like annoying at that point. That is so weird. What was I posting? I don't know. Wow. I just, like, I had 3 or 4 thoughts in my head. Like, they were there. I almost spoke them out, and they're all gone. You don't like any kind of sports, Maria? Oh, I don't know. I don't watch any sports. I don't hate them. Like, I love going to a basketball game. I love the crowd, especially when, they're winning. I've liked going to football games, but no one invites me, and then I don't know, I just don't go. What else is there? Baseball? No. I do like going to the baseball games, but I don't know baseball. No offense, but it is the most boring sport that I can think of. I don't get why it needs to be a sport like that. I feel like with a few tweaks, it could be a good sport, but it lasts forever, and I don't understand why it needs to last that long, and I don't know the rules. So, yeah. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. What other sports? I don't know. There's so many sports. Soccer, but okay, so I'll say that I don't like watching on TV any sport. It is boring. It is boring. I don't get it. I don't really care for anyone enough, for any athlete or any team or any. I don't buy into, as you call it, the hype of sports in that sense. So I could care less. But if you invite me to a sports game, I love it, because what I love, I think about it, is the unity of people, and you can feel the energy rooting for this team, and you can feel like you're connected to everyone. That is what I love. And also just kind of like the fun of it. Like with baseball, I don't feel like there is any unifying energy, because it's not that exciting. But I do like that it's outdoors and there's like food. I don't know. It's a little bit more relaxed. But I've not been to many. But yeah, soccer, same thing. I could root a little bit more for soccer teams because it's by country, so it gets fun. But and it's I love the athleticism of soccer. Because football doesn't really have athleticism. No offense. I know I'm going to offend someone saying that, but it doesn't. You run into each other. That's not athleticism. But like, being agile, like defying humanity, that's something. So like basketball, soccer, those are like you have to be agile. You have to be to to do well. Um and I guess like with football there are a couple of people or like one person that has to do that, to go around people and like, hey, throw the ball to me and whatever. But yeah, that doesn't count. That's like one person. It's not the whole team. But yeah, I'm just so annoyed that I can't remember what I was going to show you guys. I was so excited about it, and now just nothing. Nothing in my brain. Just nothing in my brain. The Senate, I think, didn't pass or they passed the removing public media funding law or whatever. So that's fun. I find so ironic about that is that I feel like in Romania, in other countries, public media, like public TV and stuff, has a connotation that, especially Eastern Europe, has a connotation more like that's the um, more right leaning media, the, more mm, propaganda towards like dictatorship type of media. So like right wing. Not so much liberal. So it's interesting here that they're trying to say the same thing as far as like, oh, propaganda or whatever, but it's liberal, which by definition it's kind of like open-minded. So I find that kind of weird and ironic. Yeah, but hopefully they'll survive because they are, they have that avenue that public can fund them, can help them out. But I don't know. It was something earlier in the day. Oh, I wanted to see this. Hold on. You're going to see this with me because I wanted to see it and I forgot to see it. Where is it? This Bad Bunny and chickens on stage thing.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but if you knew anything about Puerto Rico, you would know that these chickens are way better off on stage with Bad Bunny than in the streets. In La Calle de Puerto Rico, the chickens run the streets, okay? So if anything, these chickens were taken off the streets and given a better life, okay? These are the chickens that made it. These are the pop star pollos, all right? All the other chickens in La Luisa tienen celos. They're all jealous. Like, do you know what we eat in the Puerto Rican community? Mucho pollo, all right? If this bothers you, if this really upsets you, don't even ask us about lechon.
I don't know. He got me on that one. I don't know which one. But yeah, I will say that I don't understand this crickets and el coqui thing. I don't think that it's the best environment for chickens to be on stage. I don't know. I don't really know the biology of chickens, of birds, as far as like loud sounds and crowds and things. But I don't know. I'm kind of in between that. Um, okay, this is like, I'm just kind of stuck on this. I'm very stuck on this now, as far as what was I going to talk about? What was I going to mention? Oh my gosh. This is so crazy. Anyways, maybe it'll come to me. Oh, Eleanor the Great, by the way, is going to be in theaters. This is all over the place. September 26th nationwide. So I will say that this, I don't know. I'm hoping that it is better than this poster or this like snapshot. This marketing. I was talking about marketing. Oh, hold on. It's coming back to me. Marketing. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. But anyways, so yes, it does not look appealing to me like a movie that I'll want to see. It looks like one of those very slow independent movies that just have a lot of silence in them, and they're supposed to be deep, and they are deep, but because they don't have much music to them, and I don't know, something about them just makes them feel like they're just trying to be deep instead of being deep, but they are deep. Does that make sense? Probably not. Okay, so marketing. So surprised that it's not here, because the Coldplay people that shoot. I don't want to give it away. I really, oh my god, I can't believe like I know I saved it too. How did I not? Maybe I just took a screenshot. Oh, I found it. Okay. Sorry about that. This. Have you guys seen, I'm sure you've seen this whole Coldplay thing. I don't feel bad that they are so smeared, pun not intended, I don't know, is that a pun? I don't feel bad that they are like all over the news. Every content creator, everyone is talking about them and making fun of them and all that stuff. I don't feel bad. Like, not only you're going to cheat, but you're going to just act like that. Also, what the funny part is that the kiss cam or whatever was going around. So it wasn't like they were just like suddenly they're the first ones to be on the camera. The one clip that I saw, like there was another person. So, smart people would think, oh, what if we get on the camera? Like, let's lay low. Let's just act like we don't know each other. Or let's act like, I don't know, we're coworkers until the camera goes away. Like, smart people. But I guess the rich aren't smart. And I don't mean that, because there's plenty of smart rich people, but like not these ones. Anyways, but I love this. I have one of these Lamy pens somewhere. Anyways, but yeah, he doesn't know yet, but on Monday he'll need a good pen to sign his divorce papers. So I thought that was like cool. Let's see if I can find, excuse me. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised that not many people are. Oh, there you go. There's like a video for anyone. Oh my gosh. What is that from? I know this guy, but I don't know his name. Sorry, UK. I know.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay?
Just no. Anyways, so yeah, that stuff. let's see. I didn't read this. The tech company Astronomer just released an official statement in response to the Coldplay concert moment, featuring their CEO. They say an investigation has been launched and they're shooting down some claims too. Okay. What claims would you shoot down at that point? I don't know what this astronomer thing is even. But anyways, yeah. Anyways, so the whole thing, marketing wise, it's like it's so annoying thinking back of how many, like, I was working at small companies and people say oftentimes like, oh, there's less red tape, there's less bureaucracy. If you have an idea, you can just do it, etc., 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 etc. And when it came to marketing, it was actually very difficult. They would even say to me, like, just do things and explore and whatever. But no, they didn't want anything that was like controversial, like, I don't know, celebrating, is it the National Indigenous Day or whatever, and Juneteenth. Oh no, let's not celebrate that one. That was like more recent though, but all sorts of different things, like, they just didn't want to be human, and I'm like, you get that. And I would even say, especially in not the last one, but the second to last one, like, this is the trend. People want to see you stick to values and virtues and, like, have a strong stance and not this like wishy-washy, we're in no camp sort of thing. I think a lot about that when I post things on my, as soon as I got back from the 48-hour film project, I didn't have enough people to know me and that I did it to be curious, like, oh, I want to see pictures from that. But if I had, they would have been met with not pictures of that. I posted instantly just the crap that I saw on like the news feed. Excuse me, the news feed about the news. Oh my god. I think because I don't take deep breaths, I get hiccups and yawns. Sorry, like one after the other is really annoying. But yeah, that was to me so much more important than like pictures of the weekend, because that happened and the weekend happened, the movie happened, I did it, and I want to do more of that. And it was, sometimes it's related, maybe sometimes it's not related to anything like major, and that's okay. But I find that I probably am expected to be more neutral. I see the one person's Instagram from the school. She's also an instructor there, and it's honestly, I'm like, this is boring. You don't seem to stand for anything. You just you just post pictures of nothing, of your life, and I just find that very boring. Like, that's great as a supplemental or like the main thing, but add something as far as like, have like a backbone, basically, like do something that is worthwhile with your platform. I'm not talking about like just regular people. I'm talking about people that have lots of followers, that are someone in a public eye or some sort of leadership place, like an instructor at an acting school, or an actor or a director or whatever. And it just kind of bothers me. It bothers me. I don't like it, and I understand the arguments people would have against what I'm saying. Like, no, you have to, be neutral. It's better for you. And I'm like, but is it better for the people that are dying? Is it better for the people that are suffering, that are homeless or shelterless is the same thing. Why did that pop into my head? That don't have food. the kids that don't have food during the summers. Like, why is that better for you to not stand for anything, for you to not highlight on a platform where people are watching, for you to not highlight things just because it's better for you? Like, I understand to an extent if you are in real danger, and I feel like I dance the line right now based on what I talk about this, based on what I have heard from my family friends from back in Romania when they were, in this communism dictatorship sort of world. It is dangerous. It is scary. It is dangerous to speak your mind. So far, we're not there. And for sure, like, if we're not going to speak our minds, if we're not going to say something, if we're not going to stand up for love, for goodness, for truth, for kindness, and all that stuff, we're not going to get much of it more and more. So I feel like, and especially when there are people that are privileged, like white women. And I know I kind of like fit that, but I'm also, immigrant technically. But yeah, like, especially for people that are so far very privileged, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I do find myself feeling bad, or like made to feel bad, not directly but indirectly, with friends or whoever. I don't talk about backbone. I feel like when it comes to friends, because I've been in such a lonely space, and I don't have that core group that's like undying, support, and like will be there for each other no matter what. I feel like I always have to be cautious and like people pleasing, or kind of give in to like, oh yeah, I mean, you're an exception or whatever. Or I just kind of back off. I say that, I'm like, okay, we're not going to talk that much with this person because, yeah. So, yeah. So I don't have a backbone when it comes to that. Only to, like, strangers. I agree, me too. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like a fine line. I understand we want to be liked. I understand we don't want to be marginalized. We don't want to be in danger, whether like literally from governments or figuratively from just losing our friends and family and loved ones. Because we say something, we stand up for something that they might either not stand up for or believe in, or that they just don't want to be associated with. I felt like that with the 48-hour film project. Like, as soon as I mentioned politics, everyone was like, no. Their eyes got so big. And I'm like, I get it. And, like, where's the fine line between, I didn't really have much choice in that regard, because that was, like, just such a last minute and intense place. But when I write a script and people that don't want to be part of it because it's too, it'll never be too political. I mean, never say never, but like I don't see myself as being like very outwardly political. Again, like for me, it's like about love, about kindness, about like virtues and things and conversations around that. But if someone has a problem with that, they'll have the space to say that and not participate, because I feel like I can't do much, because I have my own fears, I have my own disabilities, I have my own issues, and selfishnesses. Is that a word? Probably not. Thank you, Maria. Yeah. Technically not new, but my other mics are not with me because of the 48. So, this is what we have right now, and I don't know how it sounds now. I do have a pop filter to decrease the sounds, but it's not here yet. But yeah, I actually had wanted to use this for a while, because I used it for my first podcast episodes, and I liked it, but didn't get to it. It just yeah. Anyways, I got distracted by my own thoughts. So yeah, it's kind of new, but not new, but new for here. Yeah. Um, yeah. Um, oh yeah. So I have like my own ways of being selfish and all that stuff, and self protection, of course. Um, and yeah, but like I don't know. Every since ever since I was little, when I say I wanted to be a musical artist, like that's like the how, but the what was really to change the world. I wanted to have more love and more unity, more connection, more acceptance of one another. Like that's literally the formative vision of what do you want to do when you grow up, Arena, kind of thing, was me on stage and seeing people accepting one another, not fighting with each other, not judging each other, being very welcoming, very accepting, like they're all equal to each other. And this was in Romania in like 80s, early 90s, when Romania is pretty homogeneous at that point. It was like all Romanian, white, whatever. We had gypsies. So it was kind of that, but I don't know that young I was kind of that aware of it, maybe. But yeah, like all majority, I think it was 80% Orthodox, Christian Orthodox or something, or maybe even more at that time. So it was like pretty, there was no civil rights movement or anything like that. But I feel like it came from somewhere, from observing something, from something. I don't know, from old soul something. I don't know. But that has been the one thing that has been consistent, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through music, through film, through whatever. So that lights me up. You get me a project like that, lights me up. You give me like stupid horror projects, no offense, I know you like your horror, Maria, or like is it horror or crime or both? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But yeah, like I just, it doesn't light me up. I was listening to this is it death metal or just metal, the one where they're like that kind of thing. And I was like, why do people like this? Intellectually, I kind of know, like, logically, I kind of have heard people talk about why they like that music, and it's always kind of a release. Like in Etoile, gosh, I forget his name, but he always had his headphones on, and they were with that kind of like intense rock, metal, whatever music, and it was to sort of calm him. And it's like the idea of sort of expressing the anger that people don't express, and maybe that's why like it fits with men a lot too, because instead of healthily expressing anger by being angry and knowing how to be angry and not go overboard or underboard, I guess that's kind of like the outlet. But yeah, I don't know. To me it doesn't bring the love. It brings like expression, letting things out, maybe, I guess. But I don't think, and I'm open to be proven wrong, I just don't think, based on like the sound of it, and I have to read that one book, The Music and the Brain or whatever, where like certain I don't think it was frequencies, but certain like melodies, certain things, react differently in like have like certain reactions to our chemical to composition or whatever. So I don't think it's, I don't think that's what it provokes in us like love, connection. I think it's just kind of like connection that comes as a result of people like, oh, you feel this way too, okay, which I would argue that's different than what I'm talking about as far as connection. I wanted to be an architect, landscaping houses for the wealthy. Like, are you like landscaping architect? Do you design landscaping or just doing landscaping? And how do you enjoy that? Because sometimes it is like, if it's adjacent enough in like the right way, can still be fulfilling. I think I would have liked to be an architect too, but in like in maybe the way that you are doing landscaping, like if I would have to pick a regular job sort of thing, like a compromise, I still feel like, yeah, architecture, like more than just art, like a little bit more structured art. I don't know, but well, architecture is more than that. I don't know. I watch sometimes one of those like YouTube videos on architecture and how like sometimes it can go so wrong. I just recently saw one last week, I think, on this hotel. I don't know where it was. Chicago maybe, or like somewhere where their lobby fell in like 90 seconds or something because it wasn't structurally sound, because of cutting corners and yeah, just like politics and stuff. Wanting, yeah. So not so much the architects, but you know, yeah, that was sad. I wanted to act in horror movies. I have an awesome scream. Well, if you're in Ohio, I feel like is like the big horror movie place, at least like independent wise. Independent movies, it's only basically only horror. Only horror. I have a horrible scream. I had to scream for a play. PG-13 or R, whatever rating wording. Apparently my screaming that was supposed to be like a horrified scream is more like a climax scream or whatever, and I was like, I wouldn't know, but okay. And I think it came from not like letting it out, so I was like holding it in, like, oh, I don't know, whatever. So I think a combination with where my voice sits and that, it just ended up not being what was needed. So people kept laughing at me. I'm like, this is horrible. I hate screaming anyways. I hate like the whole thing. And you're making me like be so bold and big, and on top of that I'm getting it wrong. This is a nightmare. Thank you. I never cut corners. I wouldn't take a job if asked. Yeah. I think in what happened there is like, well, they were already on the job, so in that case you would just have to quit. But I think sometimes it is easier said than done. Some people might do it, but I just think it comes at you so fast at times that you don't even realize it, and then you're like, higher ups are more like in the decision, and you might not even know it's being made and all that stuff. I don't know. So yeah, it's always sad though. It's just like sad and frustrating whenever other people that don't know and shouldn't make decisions and people lose their lives or get injured because of that, because of money and profit and whatever. But yeah, I would say though that you would probably have enough time to become an architect. I don't know. I'm saying that maybe from my place where I'm like, oh, hopefully, risking your business. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're hired for the company and the company wants to have that, decision because they're being paid or they're being pressured by politicians or something, or whatever, the developers, the people that hire the company to do the architecture and stuff, then I mean, yeah, you're risking your business, but like it's already kind of in the process. But yeah, I feel like, well, I don't know. There another point that was big on the brainstorming session at the 48 was AI. And I realized more and more that there's no job that is off the table as far as AI. I'm so curious how we'll like handle this transition. What are we going to transition? What is going to happen? I wrote this I wrote it this way yesterday to a friend. Let me pull that up. I said, all the wars and everything behind it is just a show of how behind humanity is for what advancements we have. And I said, we look shiny on the outside, still dial up on the inside, like dial up internet. That's exactly how we are. We look like fiber optics, but we are dial up. I mean, when you think of like all the war, because I think I said that not at that time because of it, but yesterday at one point I had seen this. Was it Syria that got bombed by Israel or something? And I was like, this is 2025. This does not look like 2025. This is dial up. This is dial up type of stuff. This is like the 90s at best. It should have not even been in the 90s, but let's say. Yeah, so I stand by that trademarked phrase. I did not trademark it, but I like it. Yeah, so I don't know where that came from. Don't know where that came from. I did have some points here. Let me check. Did have some things on my list. So the Coldplay concert did that. Yeah, the Twitter subpoenas. Oh gosh, do we have? This is I'm back to December 21st. I think is when I found out about. Yeah, that's when she submitted the article came out or whatever. And I had said at that point, like, this is the lawsuit no one asked for. I just had this like sentiment and this visual of everyone in the world just like, why? Like, I don't care. I do not want to invest time in this, and I'm going to have to invest time whether I want to or not. Someone's going to talk to me about it, and I don't want this to exist. Like, this is ridiculous. That's how I feel about these subpoenas. Like, do we have to? Why are you forcing us, Blake, to talk about just ridiculous, stupid stuff? I also feel like part of me, and this is going to sound so conspiracy theory, but like celebrity conspiracy theory, but I wonder, at some point this week, maybe because I was so deliriously tired, I started wondering, did she wait for December because she was curious who was going to win the presidential election? And I say that because it sounds so stupid, but in my mind it made sense, just as far as the tactics that she has are very similar and very allowed under Trump's administration. And there's not much morality and not much about it. The truth is not really important. There's like intimidation and power and money, having the control and all that stuff. So that's why I was like, I wonder if she waited to have that kind of societal, governmental, political, whatever sentiment where truth is questionable. Truth is like, well, yeah, it is true, but like, I don't accept it, so therefore it's rendered false, or it's rendered like pointless or whatever, kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Hi, Rose Wild. I don't think our government, including the president, should be so old. Mine deteriorates as we age. The deterioration, yes, but also, yeah, I agree with that. There was something that I saw about Mamdani, and I'm like, this is why we need younger people in government. And I don't remember what it was, but I agree. There's just like I think it was because they're like, the younger you are, the more fearless you are, as far as like in a good way. The older you are, you're fearless because like you're going to die anyways. So if you screw the world up, it doesn't matter that much, unless you are one of the few people apparently that get that old, that rich, that powerful, and care about grandchildren and children and all that, because it doesn't seem like many do. But yeah, it's still, I don't think anything beats, at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all like animals, we're all whatever, self-preservation beings. And so I think that just goes for everyone. We think about ourselves more. But the younger we are, we do think we want to make a change, and we feel like we could. We're not as jaded, we're not as bought. And so, yeah, I think 30 should be the new 80, or however old these presidents and things are. No, they seem so old. Yeah. I mean, except for Bernie Sanders, he seems like never aging. He's just holding strong to his belief. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, the subpoenas, the subpoenas, yeah, those are a thing. Silencing women. I was watching, and there were so many YouTubers today going live and stuff, and I was watching a little bit of CJ and Leanne, and as two lawyers, and then CJ was talking about, or Leanne was talking about, I forget who said what, I didn't write it down, but about the silencing of women. I think it was Leanne, like, Blake is saying, like, I mean, old news, right? But I feel like it's worth repeating all the time, just to like remember that for someone who wants to lift women's voices to be heard. That's not exactly what she said. She said she wants to be the voice for women that can't be heard. A little different and on brand with what she's doing, which is she doesn't want to lift women's voices. She wants just to be her voice. But it's just really, really, really crazy how much she's silencing women's voices. And I've said this so many times, but I feel like that is like one of the top traumas you can give to women, especially, but anyone. I say women especially, I take that back. Anyone. Every gender is silenced in some way. Strongly. Like, I was just talking with men in death metal, like they're probably gravitating more towards that because they're taught to silence their anger, their like emotions, their way of healthy processing, and being angry when you're angry, within limits. And instead of like teaching healthy anger, which is still angry, they're just like, no, just don't have it at all. Anyways, but or like take it out on, I don't know, something else. But yeah, like that is like one of the worst things, if not the worst things you can do, is like silence someone, or like make them feel like their voice is meaningless. And that's what she's doing. She's like, no, you're actually smearing me. You're actually paid to say this. You're actually influenced to say this. That's not really how you think. That's not really what you believe. Or whatever, however she would spin it. It's also interesting, though, that she's very quiet. She's just gotten really quiet finally. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It does seem like it's a good thing, because it does seem like with the Judd Wallace, the one case being dismissed, or the one thing in New York being dismissed around him, it does seem like there are things that are not going her way that much. So yeah. This is going to end her career. Magazines and online papers are writing negative about her. Oh, they're turning already. Ooh, I want to talk about, but I have to switch my laundry really fast because it is cold and I want to have blankets. So I'm gonna put them in the dryer really, really quick. But when I come back, I do want to talk about media, like content creation versus like newspapers and whatever's, which I'm sure. Oh boy. I don't know if I should put it here. I should put it there. Hopefully, I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna put some music on and mute this because you might hear static and that's not fun. And I'm trying not to do too much static because it's like an expensive microphone. But yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Take a little break, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, and I'll be right back as soon as I don't know what song to put on. I don't even have the music thing. Okay, this will be a black screen. Oh, wait. That was an interesting song. It like stopped and then it sort of came back, but not really. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Um, yeah, I did notice it was louder. I thought I turned it down, but I guess not enough. Sorry. She is a butt. That's a good way to describe her. She's going to try again in Texas with Judd Wallace. Didn't they? Don't they have? I feel like they, or is he suing her in Texas, but she was suing him in New Jersey. What am I pulling New Jersey in for? In New York. Hold on. Let me also turn on the hot air. The hot air. What am I? Sometimes me and my words. Alrighty. Also, I have to. I don't know if this is better or this is better. I think this is better, isn't it? Or am I just talking louder? I don't know. I think this is, because it's one of those microphones that has it's not at the top, it's straight ahead that I have to talk about it. And sorry, you'll probably hear, I don't know what they're called, but like the wire moving and stuff. Monday will be better. But yeah, so I thought that I'm curious to see what has been put on the docket, because I kept seeing like file after file and after file. But I was saying the media. I mean, this is not a big discussion. I wish that I could have like kind of prepared a little bit more. But I don't know if or what needs to happen, but I feel like content creators are many times, not just in this case and stuff, reporters. They're not very different than newspapers or news channels or whatever. The only difference kind of is being paid, but oftentimes they're being paid directly by the public. Sorry, so many P's. And oftentimes, yeah, like sometimes there's like, sponsorships and stuff. But yeah, so I think there is something to being prepared as far as going to college and studying something, and I do think there is a potential quite negative consequence if you don't actually study. But some people like really study their topics or really know their field, and so yeah, I don't know. And also the same thing can go for media, news anchors and whatever's, that sometimes they don't know their field, or they're very influenced, or they're very in a bubble, so I don't know that this case particularly has maybe strength in this, but I feel like there should be a change as far as designating content creators or like certain types or something. I don't know, as far as the same sort of or similar media protection or legal protection that regular media has, like New York Times. Like, oh, it's hard to sue New York Times because there's freedom of press, and there's like press not shortcuts, but you know what I mean. So, but we don't have that with social media. But with all of these subpoenas, it does make you wonder, how can that happen? How can we get to that point where social media influencers are just as recognized as any type of other reporter and stuff? And for anyone who says that, well, but there's like so much more danger and misinformation, the whole world knows about Fox News. So don't come at me with that. That's not even a conversation to have. Like, we have Fox News. So, yeah. The judge said she can file in Texas. It's dismissed without prejudice. Yeah. Although, like, I feel like he can dismiss it with prejudice in his state, right? I don't know, whatever. New York Times gets away with worse. Yeah. Let's see the docket here. I know that there is something in Texas already with Judd Wallace, but I think it's him suing her. I will say there was another point. Did I have that on my notes? As far as her deposition. Oh, that's so annoying. Having freedom to choose the location of the deposition. I said it, like, I don't think this is the case that should be allowed, but I think that it makes sense as far as like the general idea of such a case, that the victim should have say in where they're being deposed. And Stewart was also saying, and I totally understand, when he's at a deposition, the moment it starts, like, he doesn't know where he is, and it doesn't matter. And yeah, I don't think that I don't think for lawyers it matters as much, unless they're like really young new lawyers, I imagine, just like anything. But I don't think once you have enough experience, I don't think it matters. It's more so the people on the other side of it, you know. And I don't think they'll leave Justin to have the deposition wherever he wants, you know. So I think in that sense, it's like, I don't know about that. But yeah, I don't know why people hate Stewart that much. I really don't. He literally just is like one of those people that doesn't really take a side, and he's like really just like trying to educate. And I feel like, yeah, I don't know, he's just saying his opinion. He has his own opinion too. But oftentimes, yeah, it just comes across like he's approaching it from like what would usually happen or whatever. And Leanne was talking about this too, as far as like she even said, and Ashley, Brianna, Eve, I think, was talking about it too. Like, why are they being subpoenaed when, you know, Justin fans got upset at them because they were more fair, or they recognized something was good in Blake Lively's argument or whatever. And that's a very fair point. I don't really, and like she was saying, I think, like, I don't know that there's any common ground on anyone that's been subpoenaed, but yeah. They have sources too and do their research. They don't copy paste. I love them both. Yeah. Do you mean like the as to lawyers don't copy paste? I don't know. All right, so there's some tag stuff. I don't have. I have access to this. What is this? More attorneys changing around or something. I participated in a telephonic. Why are we still using that word? Meet and confer with tax counsel on or about July 2, 2025. During that conferral, we inquired about the basis for the confidential and AEO designation for the interrogatory responses. Oh, this is something else that I wanted to say. If I would be subpoenaed, I understand what Stewart was saying. I think it was Stewart, or both of them were saying that it's so funny because Stewart became so famous that I know his name, but I don't know the other guy's name, and I feel so bad. But I do like them both. But everyone's like, you know, just talking about Stewart. But yeah, I understand that part as far as like you shouldn't be anonymous. What I don't understand is why I can't have my name, my legal name, redacted, or, you know, address, phone number, whatever, redacted from the public's eyes. That's what I don't understand. Not from the attorneys, from the court, even from the parties. You know, like, if I would not even be that upset if Blake has my information, even though, I mean, to an extent I would be. Excuse me. Wow. Sorry. But because I do wonder, like, oh, what would she do with it, as far as like blasting it online or some, holding my personal information over my head or kind of blackmail thing. That's what I can think of. Because there's nothing there as far as like anything related to this case, but just like my own personal safety stuff. Because it seems like we're in this era of blackmailing. Because I swear that politicians right now are all blackmailed. There's no freaking way that every Republican is voting against a Republican agenda. No freaking way. But they are. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, like yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Wow. Transparency, content creators, online news. I love watching both. Ask two lawyers. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. I just, I don't know. I'm just hoping that I won't be subpoenaed. It would just be so ridiculous. But I mean, it is ridiculous. But whatever. Okay. Blake Lively writes to respectfully request that the court compel defendant tag. For what? To de-designate as confidential and AEO tags June 25th, second supplemental responses and objections to Miss Lively's first set of interrogatories. Okay. This is also why I kind of lost interest because of the technical legalities, just the boring stuff. It probably wouldn't be as boring, I should say, if it wasn't as much as it is, because there's so many of these. When they come like in batches, and it's like a lot. On behalf of Blake Lively, we write pursuant to Rule 4B, something to de-designate. We should have a better word in English for that. Oh, that's the same thing. All right. I respectfully submit. No reason to believe that Miss McNeese has retained counsel in connection with this action that could accept service on behalf of her. On June 19th, I sent counsel for the Wayfair parties the notice of intent to service her subpoena, and on July 10th, I emailed counsel for Catherine Case and Brianna Butler Coslow, former and current TAG employees represented in connection with this case, and no acceptance of service was provided in response. Talk about personal email information. And that so another thing that Stuart, or if someone knows the other guy's name, please let me know, because I don't want to keep saying like not including him. But they had said that if they would subpoena Google's wouldn't even respond. But because this is such a big case, they might, or they will. I don't know. And I feel like, but I don't feel like, that's interesting. That's an interesting point. And makes it even, I'm more curious now to see what Google does. I wonder if anyone's reaching out, because I haven't had the chance to watch everyone, but I wonder if anyone's reaching out to Google themselves as well to ask Google to protect their privacy as just regular citizens, you know? You know what could also be an option? I don't know if legally if this is an option, but what I just thought of was a third independent contractor company being hired to investigate she wants to investigate content creators, for certain things, like, okay, find out if they have communication of any sorts through money exchange, through emails, through whatever, with these parties or anyone affiliated with these parties. And that way, I feel like it could be, I mean, I actually feel like that would be fair and great. Because also on the other side, if she has information that there is nothing found, that would also be amazing. And our information to not be publicly on the docket would also be amazing. So it's a win-win for everyone. I mean, minus her for not finding things, but that's not, you can't fabricate something, you know? So, yeah. Well, never say never, I guess. Lauren and Cassidy's files are on there. Cassidy went off, and I'm glad. I did see Lauren. I haven't seen this yet. I haven't like seen it here, but I saw on her Instagram post. What numbers are they? Oh my gosh, so many things. I mean, I kept getting notifications, but oh, there's Lauren. Was she the first one? Ezra. Opinion and order. What is this? That sounds like interesting. Defendants Jed Wallace and Streely Relations move pursuant to federal whatever to dismiss the claims brought against them by Blake. This is the background for his decision, or for the purpose of the Wallace defendant's motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim, the court assumes the truth of the well-pleaded allegations of Lively's amended complaint. For the purposes of Wallace defendant's motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction, the court may also consider affidavits, declarations, or exhibits submitted by the parties. Okay. Wow, that is a long one. That is a long one. I'm going to read this in private. I'm not going to hold all of this up because this is how many pages? 38 pages. It felt like 300 to me when I was looking at it. Given that Lively has not alleged inaction, whatever, the motion to dismiss is granted without prejudice. Yeah, I feel like that's still pretty cool though. Sorry, Cassidy is 71 pages, 445. Sorry, okay. Good thing that that's so interesting that hers is over here. And, okay, here she is. Who's Nisai? Oh, manager of Cassidy O'Connell. Okay, cool. Sai, I forget how you pronounce it. Is it Sai? I don't know. Tsai, I think, means vegetable or something in Chinese. I'm not saying her name, this person's name, or his name, that person's name, but I don't know, it just made me think of that. Okay. 71 pages. I'm curious about Lawrence. Wow, that is short and sweet. I'm writing to formally notify the court of my intent to file a motion to quash the subpoena issued by plaintiff Blake Lively to Google LLC, served by Ezra Hudson of Monat, Phelps, and Phillips. Is it the same Phelps? I wonder if it's like related to, swimmer Phelps. I'm a non-party independent content creator operating the YouTube channel. I have no affiliation with any parties involved in this case. My forthcoming motion to quash will be accompanied by a detailed supporting memorandum based on the following grounds. I am curious, and I was asking questions, and I had to like leave also, but I don't think anyone's going to notice my questions. But on the Ask Two Lawyers, I was curious because Stewart, or the other one that I need to learn his name. They were saying that you either like give motion to quash or object. And I'm like, what is this object version? Can anyone do this? This objecting instead of going through this whole legal process of quashing? Violation of First Amendment rights. My commentary about matters of public concern is constitutionally protected. Although, does that mean much nowadays? We'll see. Plaintiff has failed to demonstrate any valid evidentiary basis justifying the infringement of my right to keep my personal information anonymous. Store Communications Act violation. Google lacks my consent to disclose my personal subscriber information and communications. Improper issuance under that. FRCP 45. Plaintiff's subpoena was improperly issued from the Southern District of New York, exceeding Rule 45's geographical limits since compliance is requested from Google LLC, which is located in California. Oh, interesting. Unduly burdensome and overbroad. The subpoena's expansive request for personal identifiers, financial, geolocation, and other sensitive data is irrelevant, disproportionate, and designed to harass and intimidate. And 5, irreparable harm. Disclosure of my information threatens serious harm to my privacy, safety, and professional reputation. Given these abuses, I intend to seek appropriate sanctions under Rule 45D1, including reimbursement of my reasonable expenses. I will also request a protective order under Rule 26C, barring plaintiff from further similar abusive discovery without prior court approval. I anticipate filing the formal motion to quash and accompanying materials within the timeline prescribed by the applicable rules or as otherwise directed by this court. So cool. Like that she's so to the point. All right. This is a lot. What is it all? She's done this before as far as like sadly being to court, so they probably know their stuff too. Of note, there are no non-party rules for submission in the court's individual practices to refer to when filing with the court. While the court is holding us non-parties to the standard of parties by quoting case law intended for parties in its order, namely this, the people have a right to know who is using their courts. We object to the citation because we are not plaintiffs, nor are we defendants in this case. We are non-parties that have received subpoenas sent to a third. Remember when Blake Lively was talking about, Taylor Swift and stuff and how she shouldn't be subpoenaed and blah, 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 because she's public and her safety and blah, 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 blah. Keith, thank you, Keith. Yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, right? Because yeah, it's interesting how much she fought for that. But now she wants this. I mean, I guess the judge wanted this and stuff, but yeah. We object to this citation because we're not plaintiffs, blah, blah, blah. The court in Highfields recognized that the First Amendment protects the right to anonymous speech, particularly online, and that unmasking an anonymous speaker through discovery can chill free expression. It therefore adopted a two-step test for when a party seeks to unmask an anonymous defendant. Plaintiff must provide a prima facie or whatever case before the court by presenting sufficient evidence to establish an essential element of their claim, just as they would need to survive a motion for summary judgment. And if that's made, the court must balance the strength of that case and the necessity of the disclosure against the speaker's First Amendment interest in maintaining anonymity. I was not afforded the standard. Subpoenas were issued from this court, not only failing to meet the standard, but failing to meet any standard. There's no evidence or sound legal basis whatsoever to have issued this subpoena in the first place. Our objections have been clearly noted in our motions to quash. Why is this that long, though? What is she... The contents of the complaint were drafting against attorney Ezra Hudson to the State Bar of California. Okay. So, okay. And he rejected it just because of the anonymity thing from Jones versus Meta opposing her motion to compel. So a little backup. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. So interesting. Yeah. But did we not see his response yet? But they received it? Because I don't see it. That he rejected it, Lyman, and Lawrence papers a few times already and wouldn't allow Cassidy have anonymity. Apparently before this one, that's a lot. The majority of it is a copy of the subpoena, she said, yeah. But it also has a transcript and other things of Ezra lying. No, let me go back. Isn't that something that should be reported, or not reported, but like have some sort of legal consequence, that Blake Lively's lawyers, firms, or whatever acted like, I don't know what's happening, we don't know about this, because, right? Oh boy. Oh god. No. Oh my goodness. Why is it so hard for me to like be flexible anymore? Okay. Got in my chair. such a weird thing. Oh, I'm not even on camera. Okay. We are filing this complaint about Ms. Hudson issued a non-party subpoena. Is it beyond? I'm guessing it's beyond this. I didn't see. Wow. Okay. They kept that though. All right. Also, I'm sorry. This is just a pet peeve when it comes to signatures. If you're going to sign your full name, which is what Americans do apparently, I feel like that's the stupidest thing, because it's your full name. How is it unique to you and not like, as easy to replicable or whatever? Like, it's your name. So like that's not really a signature. That's just like writing your name out. Anyways, that's just like my little pet peeve when it comes to like people signing their names in the US. All right, so why is it like that? Okay. Please see a attached subpoena. That's from Google. Miss Lively's docket 410, page 3, stating her intentions to serve more such subpoenas, which she did. The same evening, counsel for the Wayfair parties at Liner Friedman responded with Mr. Friedman copied, "We do not represent these individuals and therefore have no authority to accept service on their behalves." Did that really have to be said? Ms. Lively has provided notice of more than 60 third-party document subpoenas to date. Ms. Lively intends to file motions for alternative services for several third parties in the near future. A true and correct copy of an email chain ending on July 10th between counsel for Ms. Lively and Wayfair parties is attached. Okay. Copy of my subpoena. Listing Ryan Reynolds as a party, though he was dismissed from the lawsuit. Shall refer to who is a party to this action. Okay. A transcript from Andy Signore's a phone call to Manad, Phelps, and Phillips. Oh, did he like film it? Oh, I missed this one. Sorry. I just gave those people like free advertising. Okay, 4:30. I'll do that later. After. She reported Ezra to the bar. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Okay, sorry. Well, no, what did I do? I know this is like very useful for content creation, blah blah blah. I just hate when people start with like da 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 coming up next. I'm like, okay, have we not gone past traditional media over here? But I get the point.
Legitimate. It was sent as part of a user notice policy for legal matters. We appreciate your diligence in checking whether the sender was legitimate. In this case, it is. And your patience while we looked into this. We're addressing the conflicting support info you received with our teams to avoid confusion in the future. You better, because this was shameful, Google. This was shameful. But now here's where there's a bigger problem. Nate, the lawyer. I'd bring him on myself to testify, but he's got some family stuff to do, and I don't want to keep bugging him. I told them we were recording, and I said I wanted it on the record, and I want to play what they told me because this is shameful.
Wow.
Phelps and Phillips, how can I help you?
Yeah, sorry, I just keep getting a bunch of voicemails. My name is Andy Singer. I'm on a recorded line just trying to get on the record whether I was subpoenaed via Google by you guys. There's a lot of creators. We're all just trying to understand if this is real or if it's not. Is there any way for you to help me get someone in the office to go on record to let us know that we are, whether these subpoenas are real, or particularly just mine, if that's all you can tell me?
At the moment, we're still trying to figure out everything that's going on because we've been getting a bunch of calls all morning. We're not like too sure, to be honest with you. Like we just do reception. I'm not too sure. I don't believe so, but I don't like.
No, please, I don't want you to speak out of turn if you're not sure. My attorney had called earlier and spoke to someone who said that they weren't real. I just want to make sure they were positive because I obviously don't want to miss a legal notice. You know what I mean? And Google's not able to confirm it either. It's all very strange to me. Is there someone you can help me sort of escalate that? It's been a day now, and I want to ensure that we get it to you know?
Yeah, we were just told to take a message until everything was figured out. Ezra personally told us to take message, so we're trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm not too sure, to be honest.
So she's on a.
I mean, come on. Come freaking on. You're going to sign a subpoena. You're going to send a subpoena. And you're like, well, just take a message because we have to figure out what's going on. did they think that Google was not going to notify the content creators or something? This is beyond ridiculous.
Unaware herself.
Yeah, we're all trying to figure out We're all trying to figure it out.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out whether you subpoenaed Google. You don't even know.
No, I'm just reception, sir.
How
Oh,
convenient.
but you said Ezra said to take the message.
We just been getting these calls and we don't know. Yeah, because, well, we've been getting calls all day about, like, certain things that have to do with this case, and, like, we just don't know.
I understand, and just so I'm clear, I'm calling specifically about a email I received from Google that had your number with Ezra Hudson saying that Google may produce information related to the account in response to the subpoena. Not trying to bug you guys, obviously I don't want to do that, but I'm concerned because Google's telling me I have to contact you guys.
Someone who I think can help you.
Amazing, thank you so much. Spoiler alert, that person didn't help me, and they didn't call back. I am furious at this. They knew well and good, according now to YouTube, that it's legitimate, unless you... How could they be wrong now? I don't even know who to believe. How is anything real? How are we even supposed to know what's real when we call the sources and ask, and they don't know? Explain that to me.
There's I don't know. Did Stuart or Keith talk about this? I will have to go back. To me, I can't imagine there's any excuse for the lawyer to not know that her and or her team, anyone on her team, subpoenaed Google for specific content creators. Just there's there is no way for you to convince me that's a reality on any planet. Like, and the whole thing, like, I'm just reception, like, I get that, poor girl. It's not her fault, but I feel like that was also used, like, oh, they can't do anything to you, how much can they ask or how much can they pressure you because you're just the receptionist, so just say that. Oh man. Sorry. Number 32 was where Lyman responded to the content creators earlier in the week, telling them how to do anonymity. But since it took like 7 to 10 days each time to hit docket, none of them have time to file a letter of anonymity, wait for answer, then file another file to get a stamp before the 31st that Google needed. So they had no choice but to not be anonymous. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's not really his fault, is it? But to be not anonymous. He filmed it and recorded it. Yeah. Oh, hi, Mr. Garuga. Welcome. You are new here. Rules. Yeah, be respectful. Kindness, compassion, empathy, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I guess I should think about that. Hi, April. Yeah, just all good in love. Sometimes, we're all human, so sometimes it doesn't go that way, but yeah. And I personally, just, if you want to be nice to me, I would stay away from swear words because I just don't like them. I gotta listen to Lauren and her swear words because that's her channel. For me, on my channel, I guess I would highly encourage you not to use those words. Yeah, that's kind of it. Ezra had to sign them. She knew. Yeah. Unless it's like, the team, I don't know, or like if it was like 60 subpoenas, like maybe she just kind of knew the idea, but she knew that there was something to Google. Maybe she didn't know specifically the content creators. Maybe those were decided by her team or whatever, and so she just kind of knew their content creators and she didn't like memorize them all, but like maybe that's what they meant. But I'm giving them too much benefit of doubt right now. There's no excuse. Yeah. Yeah, the receptionist told them false things, not me. I didn't even think of that one, but yeah, that too. Happy Friday, April. Um, I hope you are well too. How was your week? How have things been with you? Because it's been a while. Good things, bad things. How are you doing? Um, yeah. That's the other rule, I guess. Like, talk as much as possible. I don't know. But man, to see that, I mean, I feel bad for the receptionist, but it's so like cringy. But that is just, I understand. I guess I don't know if that's why. Oh, this also is a good one. Instructions for domesticating a New York subpoena to California. Yeah. I thought I saw it in here as far as, oh, was it this? No, it was like for the bar with Ezra Hudson and stuff. Submitting a complaint to the bar of wherever she's from. California. Yeah. Complaint drafting against attorney Ezra Hudson to the State Bar of California. Can you imagine to be one person like Blake Lively and have suddenly just everyone in trouble on your team, on everyone else's team? Like, you're one person. This is something that I just cannot wrap my mind around. When I was thinking about Taylor Swift, when I was seeing the Eras tour videos and the moments where she's just alone with her guitar in the little tiny middle of these like giant stadium tours, and she's by herself singing and stuff, and to take up that much space is just so uncomprehendable to me. When I was seeing what's his name from Amazon at the inauguration, and what's his name from Facebook, Jeff Bezos, and gosh, whatever his name is at Facebook. And to imagine, like, I can't even imagine having as much power as these people have, Taylor Swift included, and money, but like the power and the just like how normal, or how like they don't think that much about making people work for them. Honestly, I'm gonna be just like straight to that. I feel so bad over here when I'm like leading a movie as the director, and I have to like tell someone something that they might not want to hear, or, and I'm not even talking like crazy things. Like, there was one incident where my cinematographer stopped recording and I didn't say cut, and I was like, what is going on here? And I felt bad. But these people have no problems making all of these people work for them. These lawyers work for them. Yes, they're getting paid. They pay them. They have no problem using these people and trashing their life, making their life. They don't care what life Ezra has or whoever has. You know, I still feel like there's a huge, to me, that's what it looks like a huge responsibility, a lot, at least on Blake Lively herself, that she is hiring these lawyers. They have to do what's best for her. They're her lawyers. They're not going to like sabotage her or whatever. And you know, I don't know what lawyers there are. Mark Zuckerberg, thank you. I don't know what lawyers they are, so they might be bad people anyways. Maybe they're not. I don't know, but like, to have that, just the lack of problems to just like have people like, yeah, do this for me, ruin your potential career for me, get disbarred potentially. I don't think this will lead to anyone getting disbarred, but like stuff like that. Like, what the heck? And I forget which one of you, one of the Marias, I think you were mentioning, that the media is kind of saying bad things about her now, and good for them. I feel like I really hope. I didn't hope at the beginning, even a month ago, honestly, I wasn't so strong against her and hoping that she will never work again. I still don't think she'll never work again. I think anyone can come back, even without redemption, even without like saying sorry or whatever. Enough time passes, blah 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 blah. Power and control, right? But I am to the point, especially with this, and again, yes, this is the lawyers, and she can say, well, the lawyer did that, I didn't do that. The lawyers are your agents. They're acting for your best interest. And whether or not, they took it upon themselves or you directed them to do this way, it's irrelevant, because you are the responsible person. You are the one that wanted to file this, and you are the one that has these complaints, and you are the one that hired them and told them to do whatever they can to win you the case. That's the implied or literal, contract with you as the plaintiff and them as the lawyers. So even if you didn't tell them literally, hey, go do this, but they took it upon themselves because they saw that's best for you, that's your responsibility. So it's still ultimately Blake Lively. And that's why, like, with this, it just, like, I feel gets to that top for me and overfills into, like, I just don't want redemption for her. Because it just, like, it keeps pushing and pushing and pushing the limits, where it's like she has to suffer some sort of consequences. She has to have some sort of consequences. And consequences, I don't care about the legal. I don't care how much she has to pay. I don't care about that. I care more about how much she has, how much she feels it on her skin, as far as, like, how many jobs will she not get? How much work will she not be able to have because of this? That kind of stuff. And I mean, honestly, I feel like if this was not Blake Lively, even the whole, like, Deadpool stuff and some other things that were very questionable with her kids, in a perfect world, I feel like I would ask for an investigation on that too, as far as, like, are they fit parents? Which might be, a little bit of a gray area, just because you're teaching and you're reveling, is that a thing? In your kids saying some really disturbing sexual stuff and swear words on kids, like, makes you, like, laugh and feel all cozy inside. Like, that's just some weird stuff. Some weird stuff. And in my opinion, that's I don't know the word, but just not a healthy environment for kids. And you should be looked at as a parent. I don't think now legally that's a thing in the US. People can do and teach their kids whatever, unfortunately, but I don't know. But I guess what concerned me most was that their daughter, according to Ryan at least, stood up to her dad, said no, she doesn't want to do that. And then he manipulated her by saying, well, I mean, okay, so you can say, like, well, of course, like, he was going to get someone else. But, like, again, I think Shirsti was saying, like, the kid was masked. Anyone could have said those words. It didn't, and people, grown up adults, do voiceovers for kid roles all the time and, sound like kids. So, no, you didn't have to. And that one video where they were, like, laughing, him and some other actors were laughing and just having, like, just so much joy over this it was a young boy, I think, co-star that was like making swear or doing swear words, or either in script or in the interview or something. And they're just so like rejoicing in that. Like, that's sick. It's sick. It's so sick. And also just low level humans, like just low level humans. That is, and by low level humans, it's like a translation from Romanian, so that might translate kind of a little too intense in English, but like we say that like just like base people, just people that don't have like much education is what Romanians say. But I feel like growing up nowadays, education isn't everything, and it's not something necessarily. But yeah, just like, the lower education families would use swear words, would teach kids swear words, and kind of get like find it funny that kids would like say swear words or like stuff like that. I think I've talked about Freud and the one book that I found in the library that this one person was really upset about, because Freud was saying that women have a low sense of humor, or a base sense of humor, I forget. And what they didn't, I guess, read before, at least they jotted down the insults they had towards Freud that was long passed away at that point, was that what he had found was that it was like education level dictated what kind of sense of humor you would have. Like farmers, peasants, etc., back in those days, like those people would have low level education, and therefore low level humor, like fart jokes and things like this. And so women, because at that point when he was like studying, or the information that he had was from that time where women didn't go to college that much, so they also had a low sense of humor. And so the correlation was with education, and then like people who had gone to college, which was mostly like rich men, were having like more existential humor and more like upper, I forget, I don't know, like Romanian kind of crosses with English and all that stuff, but like upper level humor or whatever. Not fart jokes, but like, I don't know. Frasier had both, like a combination of both, for example. But it's kind of like, I feel like even Seinfeld had like that upper humor. But what's like, I don't even know. Like American Pie is like that low level humor. I don't know. So things like that. So yeah. Anyways, how did I get on that? Anyways. Okay, so why didn't she subpoena Baldoni team if she thought the content creators are being controlled by Baldoni? That is the question of the day. That is the golden question of the day. That's Ask a Lawyer said that. That would have made the logic sense. I feel the same. I think everyone feels the same in my mind too. Like, why are you going after so many people when you could go after like not one, because it's not just Justin, but like a handful of people that you already are in the lawsuit with, but it's fewer people, and you get to see that. Like, I'm sure the lawyers know that. I don't know, can they? I feel like they can't lie. Like, the lawyers for Wayfair's side can't lie that there's nothing there, if there is. But it's almost like they're trying to, if they're not just intimidating, which that's still a possibility, if they're really doing it because they really believe there's something they could find or whatever, like they would have to really believe that the Wayfair parties and lawyers and their lawyers would lie to the court, because otherwise, like, I don't understand why they didn't do that either. Yeah. They keep skirting the law First, the scammy whammy lawsuit. Now, them lying about issuing subpoenas. Yeah, I just feel like I don't know if they answered this or they talked about this, but I just feel like it has to be illegal for lawyers to be like, I don't know what subpoena you're talking about. Because that's like obstruction. Like, because you can defend yourself if you're like, well, this might be a scam, so I don't know to reply, what to do. And then you get to like the 31st or whatever, and you're like, well, too late now. That's not something that sounds like it should be legal and acceptable. The judge has to see how unethical this is. Yeah. By law, although he might be also like his hands might be tied to a certain point, you know. I don't know when he has the ability to come in and have some sort of decisions or whatever. I don't know how that works, because I kind of imagine that a judge can't just like say, oh wait, don't do that, you can't just issue that subpoena because of this. Like, he has to have something to decide on, I imagine. So he might not really have much to do until there's something to decide. They were supposed to go through Wayfarer parties first, and only if they can't get information from the parties should they have been allowed to subpoena social media. Yeah. If that's the case, then I think they were. I remember at one point having a motion to compel for this information, and Brian Friedman saying like, we don't have emails with content creators. So maybe that's why they are in this next step. We're trying to figure it out. They're on purpose, by accident, being left in the dark. Plausible deniability. I think she was saying we as the law firm. You're right. And yeah, plausible deniability, except, like I said, I feel like there's also something like obstruction happening. I don't know. What parents would let their kids speak like that and find it okay? Yeah. I don't know that it's illegal, although I feel personally it should be illegal. I think screwing a child up should be illegal. You know, it's abuse in a way. But yeah, I don't know. And because it's not just like swear words and stuff. It was like, you know, the specific like sexual nature of the phrase, and like however many times and versions she had to say it, and them lying about their kids, and I don't know. And I don't know, I would just like yeah, it would be interesting. I don't want to see it as the public, but I feel like if there could be an investigation as far as their parenting. Yeah, I know that's a big thing to say. I know that's like something that's very tender for people, as far as like parents to hear about other parents and stuff like that. I know it's like a big thing. I'm not even alleging that anything's like happening. I'm just saying like, I think it would be a good idea to have an investigation. It's not gonna happen. And my standards of parenting are probably higher than the legal standards of parenting. So yeah, because I feel like we're so screwed up, and I just would love to have more people in the world not screwed up from childhood. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know, maybe they will be, maybe they won't be, maybe they'll be fine either way, hopefully. I don't know. And maybe it's not bad, because that's the other thing, like how things are looking on the outside is not always how it is on the inside. Maybe they're wonderful parents besides these incidents. I don't know. But that is just my opinion. What's the point of this? Coerce content creators into admitting to a lie? This is a pressure tactic. I don't think they're expecting anyone to admit to anything. I think they're just, it's a pressure tactic, just like intimidation, that will stop talking about it. or like I said, I feel like there's maybe potential for cease and desist. That would be, I feel like, a little too much, because that would for sure go a little too much into the First Amendment right of speech and opinions and stuff. So yeah, and for someone, I hope someone, Cassidy, or I didn't even know Cassidy was Katie, but yeah, I didn't know. Okay, anyways, maybe I'm confusing them. But I hope someone just like shoots back Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss at them too, because in there he said a bunch of things about how it's like constitutional freedom of speech or whatever to mock people and to satire and blah 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 blah. So I hope someone puts his words back onto them. I think they are looking for new people to blame since Judd was dismissed. Yeah, could be. That's a good possibility too, or a strong possibility. I've gotten off track big time with a few things, trying to course correct. Your live actually helped with my peace and mental health. Been missing this. Aww, I'm glad. I'm not glad to hear that you got off track and stuff, but I'm glad that this helped. I mean, and the whole thing, I wasn't even necessarily going to talk about Blake Lively, but just like this, I guess, because I'm like burned out from this, and I am yeah, I just like, I can talk about opinions and things, and I guess a little bit of what's happening. I just doing the research on it, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I care, but like, it's so much, and it's just aggravating. I just think they did it too fast. Many of the people are not monetized. I think most or all of the ones on Twitter are not monetized. Oh, can you get monetized on Twitter? That's interesting. I will say that I think I said this too. I think Ask Two Lawyers said it as well. The monetization of the channel is probably not the issue. It's not so much at this point about like, oh look, that's more, I feel like, the fans that say like, oh, they're making money off of content against Blake Lively. But I think to them legally, it's more about like, are they paid to create content? Are they given information to create content specifically, you know, to what Wayfair wants them to do, to say? So it's not so much that they're monetized. I think the monetization, or like how big their channel is, comes like Ken's was saying that she had 2 subscribers when she was subpoenaed. And to me, that is weird. Because if you're not monetized, okay, but if you have 200 subscribers, that's like, you have an audience, right? People do see it. Some people, you know, get influenced by it. And if you have a certain amount of views, like I don't have many subscribers, but sometimes if I post something at the right time with the right thumbnail and whatever, I can get thousands of views. Especially like early days. So if it's something like that, but I was seeing her channel had like 20 views or whatever on her videos, and then like she said 2 subscribers. When I subscribed to her, she had, I think, 200 or 380 or something like that subscribers. So it still wasn't that big. And then you wonder if she would be paid, what would be the point if no one's seeing her content? There's a difference between like someone just posting stuff and getting 2 or 20 views, and then someone that's posting stuff and getting like, you know, more views, in the hundreds of views and more subscribers. So that is kind of weird. But as far as the monetization, I don't find it as weird as I did at the beginning. Yeah. I heard one of the ex-content creator is a lawyer. Yeah, I heard that too today. Two of them are Spiritual Shift or whatever their name is. Yeah. And Leanne Newton is also an attorney. Yeah. So weird. Ashley Brianna had at least 10 of her videos with the sound removed, and her own voice was the only sound. 9 were about Blake, and 1 was Ryan's astrology chart. This whole astrology thing too is weird. For people, I mean, she herself said, right, that she doesn't believe in astrology. She doesn't know astrology, which I'm like, girl, like, no one believes that. You're not under a rock. You're in Hollywood. Shut up. But secondly, too, like, what is this whole, like, astrology issue that they have? Because it's with that and what you said, and then the astrology with Janess, was it, or whatever? Like, if people are reading your charts, what that is, I mean, that, talk about, like, that is, like, ultimate opinion, freedom of speech type of stuff when it comes to astrology. Yes, there are at least 3 not in the USA that's been subpoenaed that has to come forward so far. Yeah, I'm curious about that too, how it works on him. Because Ezra subpoenaed Google that is a USA company. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't subpoena the people. They did that. Maybe that's why also they went to Google instead of the individuals. Because Ashley Brianna is in Canada, I believe. I'm ready for it to be over as well. Too much drama and dragging things out. Yeah. This is crazy. This has become more about the smear versus alleged SH. I've said this from the beginning. Not beginning, but like close to the beginning. This was never about SH. When people were talking about SH, I'm like, what are you talking about? I have to find, and I'll be terrible at finding this, but there was Blake Lively's side responding to, I think, Justin's complaint or something in the news, in like People or TMZ or wherever. And they themselves were talking about how this is about retaliation. It's not about the SH, it's about retaliation and silencing and intimidation and all that stuff. So, and that, you know, Blake Lively was to be a voice for against this, and like, not a voice for, but whatever she said at that time, I can't remember. But it was, their messaging was only about the smear campaign. It was never about SH. That was secondary. Because also, as I believe too, allegedly, my opinion, there was no SH. In my opinion. So that's why they were focusing so hard on proving the smear campaign. As if but I feel like legally they still have to prove SH for that smear campaign to be also provable or whatever. But they seem to be really focusing on the smear campaign because that's all that happened. Not the smear campaign, but her having negative sentiments online, people talking badly about her is the only thing that happened. And I can't think of one instance where, but I've not seen all of them, I admit that. But I can't think of one instance that wasn't warranted based on what she did or said. I can't think of one instance that came from like nowhere and based on nothing, based on hearsay. Unlike her whole claims are based on hearsay. So, yeah. But yeah, I also agree, April, that this is dragging on. I don't actually agree that it's dragging on because I feel like we've been warned by lawyers, like this is the process. It's going to be a long process. And the judge himself said court date 2026. So I guess like, I don't know that I was ready for it, but kind of as ready as you can be when you've not been involved in anything like this. You've not watched any of this, because I didn't even watch what's his name, Johnny Depp. And yeah, so I'm not feeling like it's dragging. I just feel like it's annoying. And it's annoying and it's scary because, again, based on technicalities, she can win and things like that. So yeah, I think my friend is leaving. Hold on. Just wishing her a safe trip. This has become more about that, and people say if she can't prove SH, then there is no retaliation for SH complaint, and so has no smear campaign. Yeah, it is weird they're targeting astrology. Yeah, it's so yeah, whatever. I thought she was going through trauma because of SH. Why bust down on the smear campaign? This is hard. Yeah, this hard. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that trauma that was thrown out or whatever with prejudice. That Janessa person is like a real nice Justin Baldoni personality type, and also not monetized at beginning, and they saw her as a threat. She didn't talk negative either. I didn't even watch her. I did subscribe, but I didn't watch her content. I just subscribed in solidarity. I was saying earlier, like, the one downside I feel, not downside, how to phrase this correctly. Slight bummer is that astrology Janessa. The one bummer is that I wouldn't be able to handle legally anything. But I do feel like, darn it, like I could have used those extra subscribers. Like, Ken's got up to 1,100. That's in a week from going from 200 people. And then I don't know how many Janessa had, but she's at 7,600 subscribers. So yeah, I'm curious about her content now, though.
Same old phone,
Same old ad. This is so ridiculous to me. This is so ridiculous. The foldable phones. Just feel like trying too hard at that point to be different.
And welcome to my channel. We're going to cover a couple things in this video. I will be providing, considering my background in astrology, I haven't just studied modern psych.
I want to do something that's like,
let's change this to moving forward by a day. 7th house of partnership, of close collaborations and relationships. So is it possible that something may happen with Ryan Reynolds around this date as well? I would be curious to know and to see how that could manifest, and whether or not that would be public, who knows. But my point is, Mercury in the sky is forming that conjunction with her ascendant. It's forming an opposition with her descendant. So Mercury, the planet of communication, of language, of interpretation, of even movement of not just ideas through language, but movement of things, movement to places, that is coming into close relationship with both Blake and Ryan Reynolds. And I do.
I mean, I obviously I didn't see everyone, but yeah, like it sounds just like just random commentary from her, area, field of interest or whatever. So yeah, but the plus side for these two, Ken's and her, and maybe some others, is that now they'll be known and more supported. That's a plus side. So silver lining. I don't know, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad as far as on the legal side of things. That part has to be Blake. I think she believes in astrology so much that she believes the truth of it all. Yeah. I mean, she allegedly lies all the time, or you don't know where she stands. So her saying on Seth whatever Meyers that she like knows nothing about astrology or what is that thing could be quite the opposite. Yeah. It's so stupid. This is why like I don't really like subscribing to things like this, astrology, energy healing, whatever, because I don't not believe them necessarily, but I don't believe them to the point where they can control me, where like, oh my gosh, my chart says this, or like, oh, they're talking about this and using it against me, or like they're like outing me and my family or whatever. It's like, Blake, do you know that many people don't believe in astrology and could care less about this information? And even those who do believe, like, also probably care less. What is it going to do to you if someone believes that you and Ryan have like communication problems? She's also just said that she doesn't even know if it's going to be anything public or anything that we'll ever find out. So like, yeah, I don't know, that would be just like really weird. Just a really weird reason to go after content creators. She doesn't like truths being told about her. Yeah, that is something that is on the narcissistic personality disorder thing. But I'm surprised, things like that. Like, there's been therapists that have talked about that. The one therapist in England, Dr. Kaur, she was talking quite at one point. She's like, screw this. I'm going to be very direct about this. Because at first she was like, oh, it might be, it might not, whatever. And then she kind of went a little bit harder. So, like, what about her? Why did she not get subpoenaed or whatever? Maybe because she hasn't said anything lately. Let's see what she has. Yeah, it seems like it's been a while. She moved on to other things. Like 4 months ago was the last stuff. 3 months ago. So yeah, but from the psychology point of view, I feel like that's a lot more than astrology, but I don't know, to each their own. It's just craziness all day. But yeah, the like being unveiled is a fear for, is it NPD would be the shortcut version of it. They're terrified of truth. Yeah. Where was it? It's just craziness all day long, every day. That is the exhausting part of this long trial. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I see these court documents and I'm like, good for people reading them online, because great, but like I just can't. I don't even want to read it or like listen to someone reading it to that extent. Like if it's something like big, like the subpoenas or something, but I tend to go back to, at the end of the day, unless you're one of these people and you're involved, it is all the lawyers and all the parties to this lawsuit. That's who really needs to be involved every day. Other than that, like, live your life kind of thing. It's fun to talk about every now and then and stuff, but like, yeah, it is too much. But I also haven't found anything that's like as interesting for such a long period of time either. So I keep coming back to it. I didn't expect too much to happen before the trial. Ryan and Blake are afraid of Janessa hitting close to the truth. Yeah. I don't care either. Her voice is soothing though. That's why I subscribed. Yeah. She kind of looks scary to me in a way, but it might just be just the lighting and stuff. But yeah, I I subscribed, just I didn't even watch her videos. I just subscribed because she needs support. But yeah, I believe that's one of the traits with NPD is, yeah, like you hide your cracks at whatever cost, and being unveiled, being shown for who you truly are or whatever, because you can't even handle it, and you in your deepest deep believe that if you would be seen as broken, faulty, bad, whatever, you will be outcasted. This is the irony, because if people talk about it a lot, if back in the day in August or whenever, Blake would have issued a hey, sorry Shirsty for that video, I was having a bad day, I was having like an uncomfortable pregnancy, whatever, just something so innocuous and so understandable, as a woman too, even though Shirsty unfortunately, has had her struggles with that, but she would understand as a woman something like that. And if she would have said that, the thing is that I don't know where it was recently, but I think people were talking somewhere on a TV show or something about like narcissist this, narcissist that. It's like, if someone is able to, Housewives of Miami, and they all were calling themselves narcissistic, but the people that cannot call themselves a narcissist or potentially like or having narcissistic traits are very likely the people that have them most likely, because like they're aware, it's just really hard, they really fear that they will die basically if they are seen to be weak, if they are seen to be not perfect. And that is where everything stems from. So when you think about that being your core, then you can understand like all this like crazy absurd reactions and actions to find your truth be the truth. You go to whatever lengths to prove your point, to prove that you are perfect, that there's nothing wrong with you, that everyone else is lying, that everyone else is in on it, that everyone else is going after you, that you are okay, it's them, all that stuff, because you feel that fragile. It's really sad, and people like make fun of narcissism all the time and stuff, but it's really at the core like such a sad, painful experience. But yeah, it just wreaks havoc. But because the irony is that you end up more times out of, maybe, I don't know actually statistically, but like you end up potentially very likely to have the exact outcome that you work so hard not to have. And I feel that goes for everyone, for all of us, like the things that we fear the most, we overcompensate to the point that we get exactly what we fear. And we don't end up protecting ourselves towards that. Fear of intimacy. We push people away when they're like coming close, and just to protect ourselves, to not get hurt, to not get left. And then we end up getting left or being pushed or pushing away, leaving. And same thing with like this. It's like she is so afraid that she is not perfect and that she will be unloved, and she will lose favor, whatever, with her audience or audiences, or I don't know. That she will do things, she'll go to these extremes that will actually tell people like to exactly do that to her, outcast her and stuff. So that's like the sad, that's why like we need to work on ourselves, and it's so easier said than done. But that is a good reminder of why we need to do our inner work, because we will end up breeding more and more and more of what we don't want, what we're trying to run away from. It seems like it's almost like you're trying to get away from something that you have this string too. No matter how fast you go, that thing is following you just as fast or faster, because if you pull on the string, it even comes like faster towards you. It's kind of like that with whatever it is that we all have. She couldn't even do that. She looks AI. Yeah, maybe that's why. Because it's those it's that like big light. I need one of those lights. And like her eyes and stuff. But you can tell, like, at least so far, you can tell if she was AI. YouTube is going to crack down, apparently, or they're saying that they will, on AI usage of, like, and I wonder if Without a Crystal Ball will be included in that, because she just has that slideshow instead of, like, anything. I don't know. Or My Thoughts from the 90 Day Fiancé world. I wonder if they will, like, experience any difficulties with that. And I think that's good for YouTube, because so many people just auto-generate some AI music, some AI visuals, and then literally they do nothing and have like a lot of money or a lot of followers or whatever. So yeah, I think that shouldn't yield you, favors. She couldn't even do that. I forget what I was saying. That narc party they're all guilty down there. Shoot, what was I talking about? Covert and overt. Yeah. It doesn't really matter if you're covert or overt as far as like where it stems from, but yeah, it's interesting, like I don't know. I feel like it's interesting how people talk about, what are you talking about? The narcissistic part, or narcissism party, or whatever. Yeah, okay, the Miami Housewives of Miami. Sorry, it's like, what are you talking about? That's okay. Yeah, yeah, they're all. I feel like my personal opinion for anyone who watches this, that watches that, is Larsa. She's the ultimate one. I've not seen any of them get as defensive. Not even Gertie, who is just the most annoying one. I don't know if it's like also the edit now, but like she does not stop talking. She needs to just kind of check herself a little bit. She does not stop talking. I don't know what her deal is. I know she went through so much health-wise, but she was like this before. So I love how Julia and others were just like, okay, yeah, there she goes. Just take a deep breath and just let it happen, because there's no stopping Gertie from talking. But yeah. And what is kind of like the next episode, what she apparently like puts her at this charity event or something, puts her text messages up, Gertie with Julia text messages that is, talk about tacky and low level. That is just, all the Housewife franchise, I feel like, are not necessarily the highest of the high, etiquette. But man, yeah. Larsa is the absolute worst, and she hits below the belt. Yeah, she's so fast. Like, you tell her just like, hey, can you move? Like, boom, like, you are the horriblest person on the planet. I have these receipts. I have these. And then the other person's like, I just was telling you to move a little bit further that way. What are you talking about? Yeah. And I feel like that's like a lot more, I don't know, as far as diagnosis, but that's like something that I hear as far as like narcissism is exactly that, like very, very, very sensitive to like any criticism, any accountability. She doesn't even, the moment that it's so everyone was ganging up on Lisa, but Lisa, I think she's more maybe, yeah, she taught, that's the other thing. Talking about yourself is not narcissistic. It can be, but it's not automatically narcissism. And I think Lisa is more so the victim of narcissism as far as like her ex-husband. I don't know. And you know, it can lead you to like have like your own compensation stuff, but like I think she's just like just a hurt person that just doesn't know how to deal with her issues by herself or like whatever. And she has a point that she should be able to lean on her friends, but like when she even is like the reasonable one and then is asking for like, you know, whatever she was asking in this past episode from Larsa, and Larsa was just instantly defensive and yeah, I don't like her. I don't like her at all. She's going through her own stuff, but like, yeah, I don't like her. I think the Kardashians realized they couldn't trust her, and she lives for a receipt that can be a liability. Yeah, I don't know what's up with her as far as that. It's not like the Kardashians are like very great people either. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But she has some sort of like craziness to her too. But yeah. Anyways, she keeps bullying Kirsty. Blake keeps bullying Kirsty. I didn't really see that much, except like in the media and stuff. She's always mentioned, but like Kirsty was that first like piece or noticeable piece of this puzzle, I guess. Now puzzle. It wasn't a puzzle to begin with. How many times you sit on something? Kirsty says she didn't even hear that there was like a commotion online, and I don't know whether to believe that or not. I guess like I'll believe her at her word. She said that so many times, and that's plausible. But what kind of content creator does not have like some receipt, something that like, oh, this will be great, and puts it out there if there's a trend for it? Not saying that's what Kirsty did, but if that's the case, that's still not a smear campaign. And it's like, I don't know what world Blake Lively lives in that, again, she isn't aware of that, or she just doesn't want to be aware of that. She wants to live in her own like denial or whatever. But yeah. Oh, the housewives. Oh boy. I was watching the Beverly Hills ones, I think last year, was it? I don't even know how long ago they were on. And I had so many. Oh, no, not last year. Oh my gosh, it feels like last year. It was earlier this year because I was watching Donna and she was talking about it. And I had my like thoughts to say, but I don't know. I just didn't feel that strongly. 90 Day Fiancé. Now that I have always thoughts to say about, but not tonight because I forgot. But I don't know, the housewives thing is like always talk about drama. To me, I feel like that sometimes gets a little too much, and too much of the same stuff, and like of rich people that, you know what, I'll say that it's interesting because I think because of the contract, they have to make up to some degree, or they have to find some sort of resolution. And I think on the Beverly Hills one, some of them said, or one of them said something to that effect, that because of this show or whatever, because they have the reunions and stuff, they're kind of forced to talk to people more after falling out than you know, in real life you would just stop talking to that person or whatever. And then it leads you to deepen the relationship, the friendship with that person, or even really heal and mend that relationship and friendship, and find ways to do that. And I think that's like the most positive part of it. But it doesn't always happen that way, because sometimes I think people just do it for the camera or just because they have to. But is definitely an interesting social experiment in that sense, I feel. Like, what if you couldn't get away from the friend that you just had a fight with? Sometimes literally, because you're on vacation and they're right there. I don't know. I can't see, is that like a sad, I can't see what that face was. I wonder what the legal difference is between defamation and smearing someone. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's like just one inside the other. I don't know. Or like maybe defamation is not so much as an intentional goal, but just something that's like happening as a result of your opinions, versus like smearing someone being more like a tactic, like doing something, like having a plan in place for it. I don't know if that's like the legal way of looking at things. Coordination, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this is possible, but if Ask Two Lawyers would have like a little question drop box, that would be cool too, like for questions like that, or any lawyer out there. Not actually Golden might answer that. She likes to do like the kind of definitions and things. Yeah, I'm getting like really tired, really dizzy, sleepy, so I'm going to wrap things up. Let me go see. Oh, CJ or Leanne mentioned that. I think CJ was telling Leanne, like, did you see this? I do not watch Vanderpump Rules. I'm not for Lisa Vanderpump. I don't think that she was in the right between her and Kyle's falling out. So I will not watch anything of hers. But the whole stand of, and also I'm just like, I said this last time on Tuesday, like I am not into, everyone's like into Love Island right now. I am not into it at all. I do not care to see young people dating whatsoever. And I think many people, unless you're young yourself or whatever, like, and you're, or relating in some sort of way, I think many people are like my one friend who just loves watching other people's misery and feels better about herself. I never was that. I always was like watching to relate it to my life, to see like, oh, maybe if I try this, maybe if I try that, like, oh, this is what is happening, like I can relate to this, and how did they handle that or whatever. And so even though like, I am where I am relationship wise, like I don't care to see that. And I feel like also watching The Bachelor so many seasons and just having the same stuff, the same words, the same phrases, the same circumstances, all that stuff for so many years, it was like, okay, I've seen enough. How different can it be? I don't care. I don't care about the drama. I don't care about people trashing each other or being trashy. I also just really don't like sexualized content right now. I don't like it. I feel like so strongly disconnected from it, not like from like a sexuality standpoint, but I just feel like it's overdone and overused, and it's kind of like swear words but with the body, or flirtation, whatever. It's like, you have no other tools, so you're just going to do that. So I really am not into these Love Islands and whatnots. But she was mentioning the Sandoval thing, and I did hear that there was a scandal or whatever, and she's like, if CJ was like, if he's not suing, or he didn't sue content creators after making his life hell, Blake can not sue content creator. But Blake is not suing content creators right now. She's subpoenaing them. But yeah, it's like, yeah, there's plenty of instances where celebrities got it as bad or worse, and they didn't go after content creators, or they went after specific ones that were like really saying something not true or whatever. But it's rare. And yeah, it's hard. I don't know, it's hard. I think of Billy Bush. It wasn't so much content creators, but like I think of him too, and how like he went to dark places because of how his name was smeared, and how his name was like signifying something that, you know, also he didn't really do. Like he assisted, he was at the scene of the crime, but he didn't do the crime, and yet he was the one that paid for it. So that, like, yeah. But he doesn't seem to be a narcissist. He seemed to have like gotten through it, thank goodness, and just made the best out of it. And that's what Blake should do. But she's not. I don't know. Yeah. Don't do it yourself. They're not dating. They're playing games with one another and swapping spit. Yeah. Don't do it to yourself. Yeah. 90 Day Fiance has a kind of a Love Island, Bachelor in Paradise version now, and I'm like, this is not interesting at all. You said it so well, like playing games and swapping spit. I don't know how much spit they're swapping, but yeah, they're just playing games. That's not dating. And it's also, I guess, frustrating. If I would watch stuff like that, I would get probably mad that this is making young people think that this is dating, and not just young people. I already have my frustrations with that as it is. So yeah, I don't need to like put myself through it, as you said. Yeah. So I think I did all of that. Last thing I have in my notes was I just finished actually TV show Man on the Inside. I believe it was on Netflix. It's with, is it Ted Danson? Is it Ted Danson? No. Ted Danson? The guy from Cheers. Yeah, Ted Danson. Yeah, and The Happy Place. And it's actually good. It's actually like really nice. It's a nice, like, just relaxed show. And Too Much. I started watching Too Much, the TV show. And that one, I don't know how I feel about that one. I think I'm on episode 2. I really have not made a decision on that. But I will watch it because it's another show that's just like, because I'm watching at night to fall asleep or like whatever. I watch Schitt's Creek again. And then it's nice because I don't need to like stay awake to see what happens next, because I've already seen it like 2 or 3 times. And I just wanted something that, you know, I could watch. So yeah, no new movies. Not really interested in Superman. It was like filmed partially here. I don't know. They're having a bunch of like craziness because of that here around, but like I wasn't part of that, so I don't really care. And I'm not a huge Superman fan, so yeah. I might go see Jurassic World though tomorrow. Yeah, if you can think of any movies, just shout it out, maybe below this video or something. I haven't seen many that are kind of worth seeing, but I have 2. I have like a $5 off, and I have a $10 off through, you know, my Fandango. So I need to see some movies because one expires like by the end of July. So yeah, let me know if you've seen any movies that are good. And yeah, here's to not getting subpoenaed, hopefully. Knock on cardboard. And for those who have, to be safe, and both like, you know, legally, but also just with their information, you know, to not be put out there. And we'll see what next week brings. Thank you guys for being here. It was like fun to like catch up and chat and just kind of relax today and not, you know, do anything crazy. And like, I don't know, it's nice to like talk to you guys again, and instead of just like coming on here and like not performing, but monologuing. You're welcome, April, anytime. I'm glad that these are like nice and not, you know, waste of times, because I always like get in my head. Have a good night, everyone. Maria, Angel, April. I don't know if Rose Wild is still on. Have a good night. Peace, love, and compassion. And I guess Mr. Whatever, what's his name? Mr. something with a G. He did not like it, or maybe he's just listening in the background. Shoot, I have to go back. How far away? I don't know. I'm missing it. Anyways, or did something happen? Did he get like taken off? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, have a wonderful night. Good night. Peace, love, and compassion, and empathy, and have a wonderful weekend. Woo woo. Bye.